We are live. Yes. I'm audible, right? Yeah. Okay. Hi, everyone. Good evening. Thanks, everyone, for joining today's session on Naukri Learning. And we will be talking about getting started in a DevOps career. DevOps has undoubtedly has emerged as one of the most promising tech jobs out there. And whether you're a developer or an ops person who's or simply working in tech, or even someone who's starting out, we hope that this session will help you out in getting to know how to navigate into this career. So it's a great pleasure for me to welcome Anjul Tomar, our speaker for today. He's currently a lead DevOps engineer and working at Naukri.com. And Anjul has 8 years of experience across various domains like cloud, CI/CD, Kubernetes, etc. And so before we start, I would just like to remind you that we will be taking questions later on after the presentation. And there's a live chat box on the right hand side of your screen, or if you are using your mobile phones, then you can select the live chat option, and you can post in your questions. And we will try to take as many questions as possible within the time frame. So without any further delay, let me hand over to Anjul. Anjul, all yours. Please start.
Thank you so much, Niharika, and thank you so much, Naukri Learning team, for organizing this webinar on how to get started for DevOps, right? So I'm also getting a lot of questions how to get started in a DevOps career. So so we are here now. We are here to give a kickstart to the DevOps field, right? So let's say you are like starting your career, or you are let's say you're going to assist admin field or programming field. How to do DevOps, right? Because DevOps is not a I would say it's not even a title, right? It's more of a I would say that's more of a culture, that's more of practices that one should follow, right? So let's get started. You can see my title, like DevOps started, and it's a version as well, right? There's a purpose of this version that will come to know in the other further slides. So today's agenda, right? Today's agenda is like, what is DevOps and what does it mean to be a DevOps engineer in the industry? Skills, like top skills to learn into get to DevOps, right? What skills we should learn? What quality are good? Trending tools and technologies in DevOps, like what the technologies are currently trending, right? What skill set a successful DevOps should have, right? And finally, certification training was one mistake to if you are from some other field, like maybe I'd say system admin or like some other field, you're trying to move to DevOps, then like you can definitely take up these courses and certifications. That's an all add-on, right? So flagship question: why do we need DevOps? Right? If you quickly can see like what the current problems with organizations, right? Why DevOps in originated? It was originated because of to sort out these following issues, like miscommunication between developer and teams, absence of DBs in the release, right? Haphazard code execution, and many more. Like you can just read on the screen. So so one of the core reason why DevOps are introduced, like you can see the very first reason, miscommunication between developer and operations, right? Which is a core of any software development cycle, SDLC. We need to break this issue down, right? We don't want miscommunication dev and operations, because they are the one who are the core of the heart of the product, right? Who at the operator's side. Right. So when organization was starting these problems, right? A magical person called DevOps, or not the person, I would rather call that's a process which came in place, right? And it solved everything in between, right? That magic happened, right? Definitely that's not a magic. That's basically the approach, that's an approach, that's a improved collaboration between the what I'll say, right, in the organization that is happening. Now the flagship issue, like what was the flagship issue to organizing DevOps? So right, you can see like dev and operation, which is a never ending fight, right? due to which this was organized. Perfect. So let's know, because we have a short session. Let's move forward. So technology, what Gartner says as a DevOps definition, right? So according to Gartner's, DevOps represents a change in IT culture, focusing IT rapid delivery through the adoption of agile, lean practices in the context of system-oriented approach. DevOps emphasizes people, right? Seek to approach improved collaboration between the operation system, and a few more paragraphs. Right? Just to cut down, who are the new people who are new to DevOps or trying to adopt DevOps or trying to understand, like this may be a very heavy paragraph, a very heavy term for them. Like, let me just break it down. DevOps is basically approach, principles, culture, which be in place to help organizations to achieve their goals quickly and rapidly. Right? How they do it, we'll see further. So, okay, just a flagship question. When we have everything in place, why don't we improve those people? Let's say we have operations team, we have operations team, we have sysads, tech ops. Everyone is in place, right? With good, developers. Still, why we are facing these issues? Right? It's all happening because of, I told you, it's all because of the miscommunication between all these people. So basically, so that's why we introduced something called CAMS principle, right? DevOps mindset to get these things done, right? That's called culture, automation, measurement, and sharing. Right? Adoption of automation and measurement is easy, right? We can definitely introduce tools and get automation in place and measurement in place. Right? What does an automation measurement means? Automation is, I would say, the automation tools, Ansible, Puppet, Shelf, and whatever automation someone can do. Measurement can also, we can make, right? Monitoring tools, sharing data across the teams, right? What is very difficult to bring it upon, right? It's the culture and the sharing, right? What is the culture here? Culture is the way teams communicate with each other, right? They keep a transparency of something went wrong. They tell each other, right? Something went wrong. Okay, this is how I fixed, right? They keep the things in documented way. Sharing is the way people keep a transparency with each other, right? Rather than working in silos. Silos is a very common term in DevOps that we use, right? Silos should be broke, right? If silos are not broken, we'll definitely end up with I would say, like, goals diversion. We will divert from the goals. Right? So the companies who are adopting DevOps, what benefits they're getting, right? So there are two benefits actually. So I'll cover both one by one. One is business and other is the technical. So let's cover the technical aspect first. Right? So if we adopt DevOps, technical benefits will get, like, we will get the automation of the process, right? What process are we talking about? This is a generic process. Like, this may be a server provision. This may be application delivery life cycle, right? This may be some other sort of automate the process that could be automated. Maybe cloning, right? There could be many things, right? Which are currently being done by manually. Right? Dynamic iteration cycle. What does it mean? So dynamic iteration cycle is basically, let's say there's an on project, right? And all the staging servers are occupied, right? You need to, something came in between, like in a feature request, in middle, something came in between. Okay, can you please do it for us? We need to deploy, and this feature was faster than our competitors, right? For that, we have dynamic iteration cycles, right? So by using DevOps tools, you can definitely make it happen. Constant integration delivery. This is a continuation of point number 2, right? Efficient documentation with proper code synchronization. This is something which is which we surely we should all surely follow, right? But this should be done in such a way that, if I go back to the CAMS principle, right? This is sharing. We should keep a transparency of what we are doing. Like, let's share the details with others. Like, okay, hey, I have done this. This is the learning. This is the findings, right? This is very helpful actually. If you do sharing between the teams, they would definitely, there's something called DRY. Do not repeat yourself. If you have done something, if you do the knowledge sharing, right, this will definitely help other people, right? Other folks. Technical stability, right? How does technical stability come to in place if we are adopting for DevOps? Technical stability basically comes from the confidence of CI/CD and other practices in place by DevOps, right? Let's say I'm doing CI and CD, right? And that CI/CD itself gives the confidence to the developer and the operator teams to deploy with confidence. Like this is what the tagline of DevOps is, right? Easier to spot errors. Again, continuation of the previous point, technical stability, right? If we have technical stability in place, it's very easy to spot errors. Like just in case some surprise even come, right? Some surprise come. Okay, I have deployed this application. Some surprise came. Then you can at least you have a you can narrow down the issue. Okay, I think this is not a problem for this X factor. It may be for Y. It's because of why you can narrow down the spot errors. Stable operating atmosphere. Yes, definitely. So how does stable operating atmosphere come in place, right? When you have confidence with about two factors, right? You definitely get stability for over your environments. You control your environments better. Convenient security maintenance. This is something which is this is something which organizations generally feel pain, right? Implementing convenient security. So security should be a part of the DNA in DevOps, right? If you are doing something, you should try to put the security in our DNA, right? Let's say that's why something called DevSecOps came in place, right? I'm not individually specifying DevSecOps, but it's just in the factor, right? Like if you do something in DevOps, just do it with the security mindset. So just in case feature issues comes also, it may be creating a very less damage or equivalently like no damage, right, to the system. Business benefits. Let's come to the business benefits of DevOps. Faster delivery, faster time to market, right? So what is this faster delivery and faster time to market? So in the previous technical cultural benefits, I show you something called dynamic iteration cycle, right? Dynamic iteration cycle and automating of the process, right? So it's an end result of it will in end result give you faster delivery and time to market, right? What we discussed earlier, right? We are releasing the features and enhancement bug fixes faster than our competitors. Right? This really creates a business value. Right? Higher collaboration between the team, business, DevOps. So this is a more generic term, right? So basically, what happening is if we adopt for DevOps for business, so and let me just go back to the slide for the culture, right? So this is actually point number one. Like whatever problems we face in the organization, if you open up this diagram, ultimately something is breaking down here only, right? In some part of here only. This is the cultural point, right? Let me just switch back. Third is greater customer experience. Definitely, a customer will get a greater experience if you're, it's an end result of point number one: faster delivery time to market and rest. Better operation as well. If your applications are operating in a stable environment, right, you will definitely face less bugs and whatnot for the success. Innovative mindset, right? This point is basically another extension to what is a greater customer experience, how the innovative mindset works. So let's say, let me give you an innovative mindset. Let's say we for a product team, right? Let's say some requirement came in. Some requirement came for the hey, can you please make this feature live? I know you have already you're already working on some given requirements. Can you please help us to implement this at least? Because if you try to innovate it, we might be getting good business opportunities. And right, two situations might happen here. What are the two situations? Situation number one, they will say, okay, we already have work, we already have deployments, we already have process that we are working on, right? I think we should take it up on some point in future. Maybe you can just put it in backlog or maybe future log, right? So that idea might maybe or maybe not execute in future, right? Because of the that environment that people were somewhat not having a culture, they are following their old culture, not the new culture. So in CAMP's principle, I think most of the things can be, not most, I think 50%. Culture and sharing, these are always difficult to change. Culture in organization and sharing, these are two factors which really needs courage for organization, for a set of people to introduce DevOps. Whenever trying to put DevOps in place, you will definitely maybe not feel opposition from the culture and the sharing, what I'll say, sharing principle. Okay, I think we are almost good here. Stable operating environment, I've already covered. More time to innovate rather than fix and maintain. Yes, this is an end result of what? End result of technical stability, and easy to spot errors. Right? Let's say an application where daily started giving errors. It may be because of some reason, right? It may be so. When we follow DevOps, we talk about blameless postmortems, right? We don't say, okay, this happened because you developer, you are leaving bugs. You sysadmin, it's because of you. It should not be there, right? Definitely not. It should not be there. It should be like, okay, we should be doing blameless postmortem. Like something happened, that's a combined responsibility. That's the complete point of following DevOps. And trust me, when the teams work in a collaboration together, right, you will definitely overcome these errors. Let me, okay. So most of the audience we're having together have today on this live session is more of the people who are trying to move to DevOps, or maybe people who are trying to adopt the DevOps culture, right? Why DevOps in so much demand, right? I can tell you why DevOps is so much in demand. In fact, I have shown some of the reasons and some of the principles, like why DevOps in demand. But is DevOps really in trend? Yes, it is. How we know? Yes, we know it. See the current hiring trends for the DevOps, right? This is Naukri's data for how sysadmins and DevOps are competing, right? So over time, if you change the skill ranges, if you change the experience, so competition even widens between the DevOps and system admins, right? So let's move further. One thing to make sure, today's session is just an overview of the technologies of the process that we are doing, right? We are not actually deep diving, and we are not deep diving actually to the micro technologies, understand how tools work. But we know actually, if you are trying to move to DevOps, if you're in DevOps and trying to search a path, then that's the right place. But we are not doing a very deep dive into the what I would say micro tool. You can go ahead and read for DevOps on these places. So one thing is common among all the links organizations. So they all talk about culture, approach, mindset, and practices. Right? What will change is the vendor part, right? For example, New Relic will tell, so these things will always remain the same, right? Like mindset, culture, approach. What will change? Right? The way they market their things, right? New Relic probably market their things in a New Relic way. Amazon will market in their way, right? So Azure will market in their. So everyone is going to market in their own way. But one thing which is not changed is the DNA of DevOps. That will not change. Culture will not change. Practices will not change. End goal will not change. Right. So I think we are good. So now we know why DevOps, why organization need DevOps, what is the purpose of DevOps, right? Demand, importance, purpose. We should be going from here. What should we do next? For that, let's begin. So first of all, let's discuss the DevOps engineering roadmap. Right? And one thing, DevOps is not all about adopting the roadmap. It's about the journey, right? When you're on the way, you should be also facing problems, troubles, adopting DevOps, right? But it's a journey, definitely. Right? Roadmap is one thing. A journey is something where, let's say you do journey, you'll face problems in between, but you should not stop, right? End goal should be achieved. So one thing, so to adopt DevOps, there are two so someone is a newbie trying to adopt DevOps, or someone is trying to move to DevOps from some other field, maybe programming or sysad field. In the last of the session, we will quickly cover how to get it going, right? If you have your programmer, you're trying to move to DevOps, I'll just clear those confusions. By the way, if you're doing programming, DevOps, see, you don't definitely need to be a DevOps. You just need to adopt DevOps, methodologies, DevOps mindset, right? That's one thing, right? So comes to core technical skills. If someone has to move to DevOps, then they have to first follow, trying to do core, right? Core of these things they should do, like basic programming knowledge. Like someone trying to move to DevOps with zero experience in DevOps field, right? They should be having some basic knowledge of programming, right? I would recommend Python is, I will show you in the further slides, right? Understanding of Linux and Unix, right? Because I think 90% of the workloads are running over 90% of the server workloads are running on the Unix and Linux servers, right? Knowledge of automation and monitoring tool, it's a must, right? We should be having a basic knowledge of monitoring tools and automation, right? Cloud providers and services. Basic system design, say this is something which might say, okay, system design, why? That is necessary actually. When you're sitting, you sit towards the DevOps planning, implementation of DevOps, right? Troubleshooting things. Basic system design is something we should be what we should be knowing, right? Because if you're not aware of system design, would be difficult, right? So basic system design is necessary. What is proxy? What is load balancer? What is cloud servers, right? How does building blocks makes up the complete infrastructure, right? So it's like a brick which makes up the building. Right? The building is the infrastructure that we work on. Understanding of CI/CD pipelines, it's a must. Right? So what new people trying to move to DevOps, these core skills are very necessary before you jump onto the other skills, right? So if you're good with this resource, you definitely need not to master everything, but you should have a basic understanding how these things work, right? Next will come is core DevOps skills, right? What are the core DevOps skills, right? End-to-end observability, right? End-to-end observability, what does it mean? End-to-end observability. End-to-end observability means you are trying to see the moment someone is trying to click from their mobile app to the database, to your database. You should be knowing how that request flow in your infrastructure, right? Knowledge of software configuration, I have already covered. Sorry, that's duplicated. Infrastructure code in progress. This basically is, let's say that you have to create, there's one environment, you have to make it DRY. You have to follow the DRY principle. What does DRY means? DRY means do not repeat yourself, right? Once the infrastructure is created, let's try to create some script. Let's try to create some, I would say, some process to regenerate the server, rather than you and we, in fact, go back and make those things by hand, right? We are spinning up cloud servers, we are just manually entering the SSH. So that all should be automated through the infrastructure process. Containers and Kubernetes. What are the containers? Kubernetes? This is the core of the DevOps, what I will say, not core exactly, foundation of the DevOps skills, right? Containers and Kubernetes is the one which helped to end the DevOps fight, right? Because the devs were not having a visibility of what version of operating system running in production until operation teams comes and tell back, okay, this is them. Well, they don't know what kernel version they are running, right? And in fact, it's not even control for the devs. Let's say they have to patch something, right? They are free to do it. But when the containers come in, containers actually introduce a layer of, what I will say, detachment over the infrastructure that will surely help like developers to absolutely not care about what version they are running on like, I would say, Linux or Unix version. Security practices, like what are the security practices we should follow? So security practices should be in our DNA, right? DevOps DNA is security practices. Something people have named a DevSecOps, right? They have introduced the security, but I would say, okay, it's fine if you want to do DevSecOps practices, right? Because see, every day now Log4j has come, now future 4j will come. Every day you will face a new vulnerability, right? But what makes a difference from the practices? If you do the practices follow, even if there is some vulnerability or something, you can reduce the damage, right? You can, what is a blast radius, right? How much damage you are going to get. And one more thing, it could be completely prevented if you do security practices. Knowledge of software configuration deployment, I think I've covered already. Orchestration and self-service portal. This is interesting and this is very much time saving. Orchestration is and service. So basically, let's say in a highly growing environment, someone has come for the server, right? Hey, can you please provision me this server? Hey, can you please help me with this server, right? What you will do is you can either go ahead, okay, take the request, will go back. You will open up the AWS portal or whatever the where you are making, not AWS actually, right? Whatever cloud you're using. Why don't we do a self-service portal, right? Someone comes to you and asking for the server. Let's give them a Jenkins form, maybe some self-service portal, right? Some script, some sort of script maybe, which sends an email in your sends a approval in your email and says, hey, this developer is asking for this machine, let's say 2 core or 4 GB machine. Just click it and that will approve that it. Right. Understanding CI/CD pipelines. This is a core of the DevOps. I think we will go this further. Agile methodologies, right? agile, we should be knowing basic agile at least, right? If you know agile expert, basic agile, how things work, right? Now, DevOps core competencies. This is the DevOps core competency, right? Continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous monitoring, continuous security. This is something a DevOps should be expert with, right? These are the really helpful part of SDLC to speed up the software delivery. What I'll say, software delivery. Let me just go back actually, and let me show you how it's helpful. Right. So improve collaboration, rapid delivery, speedily execution, sustain software development. Right now, you'll see how these three parts: speedy execution, rapid delivery, sustained software development happened. It all happened because of the core competencies of the DevOps, which is continuous integration, continuous testing, continuous monitoring, and continuous security. Let me just move further. I think we are short of time. I'll speed up a bit. So let's see what tool set would make it happen. So if you can see here, we always have a DevOps toolchain which make us enable the DevOps in the organization. Let's say SCM, right? Whatever SCM you use doesn't matter. Like whatever artifact repository use, it's also fine, right? The main should actually follow other DevOps principle who keeps this tool integration in place and helps you. Okay. And just one more thing, if you're trying to move to DevOps, you have to make sure, okay, are you DevOps ready? So you can anytime go on this link and take an assessment to check if your current or how much DevOps your current organization is following. Right? So I have put some links here for the core technique so let's say I think we are good here with the what skills we need, how DevOps help. Now someone move to DevOps, right? What training he or she should be taking in term to move to DevOps, right? So core technical skills, I have put down some links. You can go ahead and take RSCA course. So these are not very essential. If you already have this knowledge, then it's totally fine. You can skip it. It's not necessarily you will be needing all these trainings. You can definitely skip it, right? Programming basics, it's a must, right? You should be having a programming knowledge at least to understand, to make the automations happen. Although these automation can happen in the Bash or in some other way, but I would recommend to doing in Python or Go maybe. I've not written here. Since it's a beginner session, I would be I would recommending to follow like Python. Like this is a free Python course, then anyone can learn, right? Basic networking skills are good. If you're having basic networking skills, that is definitely helpful. Basic monitoring and OS fundamentals. These skills are also good in terms to jump to hardcore DevOps skills. Right? So someone's trying to move DevOps, I would highly recommend first of all go through this. First of all, to learn the culture and mindset, right? Because DevOps is not a person, DevOps is not a tool, DevOps is not a anything else. DevOps is just a mindset and culture. Right? It's just a mindset and a culture which someone implements in the organization to achieve the common goals, right? So Phoenix project, it's a very, very, very known Bible, novel in fact. We should definitely read just to understand in a funny way how DevOps is helping organization and the mindset, right? So Coursera, it's a very good course. So with this course is being created by one of the senior technical manager in Nike. I would recommend you to go through this course, DevOps culture and mindset, right? Any other, I have 2 other miscellaneous links I have put. Cloud provider training, we should have a cloud provider training because cloud really helps in the product development escalation, right? So I've put one link. This is a vendor neutral course by CompTIA, right? CompTIA is basically, this is a vendor neutral organization, right? You know what basics of cloud foundation, then you can do any other course you want to do, right? Like Google cloud certification, AWS, whatever other course you want to do, you can definitely go ahead and do. Kubernetes and containerization, this is a must, right? Once we are good with this, then you can definitely jump to Kubernetes and containerization skills. This is a must, definitely a must. CI/CD courses, CI/CD. Actually, in the previous slide as well, I've shown you like the importance of the CI/CD, right? How CI/CD is a core of DevOps and how they are helping the organizations to work. Just one thing to make sure, it's not DevOps is not alone CI/CD, right? The mindset is always the one, right? If you have the correct mindset of to implement DevOps, things will definitely go in place, right? It's not like, okay, you have done CI/CD alone, you are a DevOps. I don't think so that is going to work. Right? Let me just. So advanced monitoring part, like I think simple monitoring we have covered. Simple, I think Linux level monitoring courses I've already like listed you. There's something called Elastic. Elastic we should always have a good hold on, because if you're doing monitoring the large data, Elastic will definitely help you, right? Istio, like Prometheus, these are all core DevOps tools that help. See, just one thing to remember: these courses are reference courses, right? These are not the end of the world. Okay, if you do this, you will become DevOps. These are all reference courses, right? If you do this, you're good to go. At least you're good to go and good to understand things, right? This slide is actually my favorite slide, right? So definitely go for these courses. I would recommend, if you go through these courses in a free time, that will definitely help you. So there's a course on Algo Expert called Fundamentals of Systems, right? This course is very, very helpful, right? This course will basically tell you the basics of system, right? Basics of fundamentals of the system, how system works actually. So when I talk about system, how proxies work, how load balancer work, how systems work, right? Cloudflare. There's a sample Cloudflare course. There's a Cloudflare. Why I'm like mentioning Cloudflare? Because there's something called industry expert called Akamai, right? But Akamai is not freely available to everyone, right? Akamai is a very, very expensive. If you go Akamai website, if you have to sign up, it will take many days to activate. When I was starting days in my career, I really wish to work on Akamai. I used to see how big organizations use DevOps. They used to use Akamai, but I was having no resource, right? So someone of my friend in my beginner they told me use Cloudflare. Cloudflare is a similar tool like that. You will definitely know how CDN works. CDN is a very important part in any organization, right? CDN is the one which act like your, it's a guard of your complete infrastructure. Definitely give eye to it, right? It's a basic course of like understanding the integral part. Right? If you understand this, you can surely work on the other vendors, right? It may be Akamai, it may be any other vendors, right? CloudFront, whatever, you name it. Nginx fundamentals. Nginx is it's a core of the DevOps, right? Because DevOps is mostly, when DevOps comes to handling of web servers and other servers, right? Other like public facing servers which are HTTP based. Nginx is something you should be expert to, because most of the issues when traffic comes, most of the issues will be related to Nginx only, right? I may be wrong here, but I'm just trying to like, you may agree or disagree with me, but most of the, if you do Nginx tweaking very properly, right? If you scale infrastructure properly, we can survive with them in large number of requests. DevOps for databases. What is this actually? DevOps for databases is it's basically the tool, basically tools which will help you to what I would say, like to perform DevOps with the databases, right? It's not necessary actually. You can totally skip this. It's not required. But yes, if you do this, you'll be also good with the database, right? Because you currently know many huge chunk of websites, public facing servers use MySQL, right? These skills and courses, these are just references, right? My aim is to help you with the right direction, right? Courses, they're very free resources available. Many of these courses might be paid only. I would request you, please ignore those courses. Just take the approach, right? DevOps is completely about the approach we are using to solving the problems. I would request you again, please, you can totally ignore the courses. Just take the learning for the approach, what approach we are going to follow. Okay, then that's all. You are a DevOps now. Now someone is trying to move to DevOps. Not really. If you are saying after following this courses practices you'll be a DevOps, I don't think so. You're a DevOps now, right? that journey just started. You will face a lot of issues, problem. Let me just put it directly. I'm directly quoting from the DevOps.com, right? So they're talking about over the journey, right? What mental practices we should follow, what the mindset will be having to be a successful DevOps, right? Make continuous learning from the DevOps journey. Again, why I was telling you your DevOps path to DevOps, right? There's nothing but path to DevOps. It's always a journey, right? It's all about practicing, right? Someone says, okay, I'm DevOps, I done courses, I'm DevOps. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. That is not the case. Right? Don't hide the experts, right? If you're not good at something, right, definitely take help from other people, right, who have already done it, right? Always learn from the expert, right? Go to conferences. There are many conferences available online, many resources available online who can definitely help you to be a good DevOps. Be a good DevOps and be a good DevOps practitioner. Take good DevOps practices. Please apologize if I'm using be a DevOps. DevOps is not a person, it's an approach, it's a mindset, right? We have to keep in mind, it's always a mindset practices, right? Okay, I would like skip.
Hello.
But they are all good to have. If you have the certifications, right, that's always good. What's next? I think once you're good with all this, we can, you definitely have this option, right? And finally, before I wrap up, that's something that truly defines my thoughts, right? Evolution and improvement happen over time, either technical or professional. Keep on going through the feedback and see. DevOps is about journey, right? It's about making things fall in place for the organization, but definitely it's a personal journey as well. If you not succeed for something, just go back to that loop, try that thing again, right? You will definitely get the success. So now, see, DevOps adoption had never happened in a single day. It's a process, it's a journey, right? So similarly, like personal development will happen over time. If you are trying to achieve something, not getting immediately, don't be upset. Like, definitely keep it trying. You will definitely get that. Thanks all. Thank you so much. That's all from my side. And over to you, Niharika.
Yeah, thank you, Anjul. I think we have a lot of questions, but I won't be able to take all because of the lack of time. So before that, there were certain questions that people put in at the time of registration, and I would like to address some of those. I think we won't be able to pick all, which I think would add value to the audience as well. So what is a career roadmap for DevOps? Like, someone who has started and how much they can go, how far they can go.
Can you repeat the question again? Sorry.
What is the career roadmap for DevOps?
So career roadmap it's very subjective actually. Again, someone is coming from the developer's background, someone is coming from the system admin's background. See, the end goal is same, right? We have to have the common organization goals. So let me be very specific about the background. Let's say someone is coming from the sysadmin background, right? You already have the systems knowledge, right? You know how systems work. So try to learn. So basic programming is definitely a must. I would definitely recommend that you learn basic programming, because when someone is DevOps, right, they have to have a basic knowledge of how applications work, how build systems work, So this is what I recommend for system admins, for application owners, or maybe the application developers. Try to learn some of the system side things. Like it's not, a developer cannot be a DevOps. They could be a DevOps, but they definitely need not to be a DevOps. If they take the approaches, right, mindset approaches, they can also do the DevOps in their organization.
Right. And one common question that we actually have got in the live chat as well, and like some of the programmers, or I have in the live chat people who are into system server admin and someone into Linux admin as well. They want to switch into DevOps, and some of them have taken certain certifications like Azure and GCP cloud certifications. And there's another question, I'm a Linux admin, which is better for me to learn, cloud or DevOps? So, there's a lot of questions that come in from one particular field into another, commonly into system admin, server admin, Linux admin, or a developer who wants to switch to DevOps. So what advice would you give to them?
So first, I would like to thank you for asking these questions, because These questions will actually give the clarity and a clear mindset. First of all, DevOps versus the cloud, right?
One was how a programmer can move into DevOps. That was one question we got during the registration. Then there are some server admins here, and someone is a Linux admin. They want to switch into DevOps. So
correct. First of all, so for the system admins, and the system admins is also an integral part of DevOps, right? Don't think you are you cannot be a DevOps. You definitely be a DevOps, right? It's just a mindset we have to have, right? Let's stop doing things manually. Let's follow an approach of DRY. DRY is something called don't repeat yourself. You have to provision a server. Try to use some automation method, right? And the most important of all, try to leverage the DevOps principles, like how DevOps work. What are the DevOps principles, right? Trying to bring a like cultural shift. See, whatever questions we are going to cover out here, most of the questions will be related to the mindset and the culture. Right? If you do mindset, if you do culture, will be good. Let me extend the questions once. So for a system admin, right? As a system admin, the skills I already mentioned, right? Core skills you already have. You know systems. You know basic networking. You know, right? Try to move to DevOps by learning some programming language that is more needed, right? Programming. I'm 60. Don't do very tough programming. Do some easy programming, some easy Python programs, right? First of all, I have seen many system admins who are afraid to learn. Okay, this is programming. This is stuff. Don't do that, please. I request you, please don't do that. Programming is a must to be DevOps, and it's very simple as well. Try to learn Python. Many free resources online available for Python. Right? And once you learn this, try to learn Docker and Kubernetes. Right? Take small step. If you take a big step, right, you might feel a little bit uncomfortable, but try to try to learn one thing at once. And Niharika, you're asking for the programming as well, right? How programmer can be a DevOps.
And about that question that you were talking about, cloud to DevOps, cloud or DevOps, there is someone who's a Linux admin and is asking whether they should first learn cloud or DevOps.
Okay. Let me just frame this question in another way. So there is nothing called DevOps or cloud. Cloud is a part of DevOps, right? DevOps is having multiple branches. One of the branches that cloud engineering, right? Cloud engineering something that is an integral part of DevOps, right? So cloud, let me I need to answer this question more specifically. DevOps is, again, I told you there's a mindset in the process, right? Cloud is the one which is a tool which is which is enabling the mindset and the process happen to benefit the organization, right? Cloud is just a part of it. Cloud is not what I will say. It's not a. So I would say this question should be framed in a different way. Should I learn cloud or should I learn the DevOps mindset? You can learn both differently, right? Cloud, you can anyways learn. Certifications are available, trainings are available, you can learn. And DevOps mindset is something which is a long in journey process, right? That will come in journey.
Right. Okay. So the next question is, how is DevOps different from SRE?
DevOps is not different from SRE. DevOps and SRE work it's like two brothers, right? They're more same only, but what difference comes? SRE more handles to the wider, what I will say. Please don't make it controversial. SRE more handled towards the public facing websites, public facing high traffic applications, right? So basically both are the same. It's a minor difference between SRE and DevOps for the roles only, what role they have given to.
Okay. So there are some people who wanted to know what are the starting salaries for DevOps. And the second thing, one question was, why do freshers with skills why are they not offered DevOps roles?
Sorry, second.
Why do freshers with skills are not offered DevOps roles?
Why DevOps freshers are not? Because see, there's nothing called junior DevOps, right? DevOps is DevOps. DevOps means you have to interact with people. You have to, you have to contribute to the mindset, to the process for the DevOps, right? So why viewers asking why freshers not are offered as DevOps role? Because see, they need to prove themselves with the mindset, with the culture they're working on, right? So doesn't matter if you're working for some other field like programming or I would also like to say some system admin role. So just hold on, because DevOps is organization wide. DevOps is not a central person or central identity. right? If you are working as a programmer, try to implement the DevOps principle, right? If you're a system admin, try to learn the DevOps mindset, DevOps skills. Again, DevOps mindset, I would keep on coming to mindset and skills, because if something is good with this, everything else will fall apart automatically.
How to get real-time experience while switching into DevOps from a different domain? I've already learned cloud and DevOps tools. So I think this is a question, this is a related question we got is how can you pick up real-time projects, or how can you get that kind of experience? I mean, a hands-on experience if you're a fresher.
Okay, this has to be more subjective. Like you're trying to ask which from which field. Is it a different field from IT or what?
No, from a different domain. While switching to DevOps from a different domain, I've already learned cloud and DevOps tools. So basically, I mean, you can also simultaneously answer the very commonly asked question that how can you pick up real-time projects, or how can you pick up projects when you're switching into DevOps from some other role?
Okay. So let's say if you are switching from some other technical role, so you might, okay, it's a continuation to the previous answer I gave. So let's say someone is a developer who working, someone is in testing also. Let me add the test engineers as well. So DevOps is organization wide, right? So they can definitely hold up. So let's say someone is in the testing part, right? They can use a continuous testing part, continuous integration and continuous testing part to do DevOps, right? That will not alone help to be follow the DevOps, but that will be a starting point where you can take the knowledge sharing from there. See, I have opened this slide again. Part number 4 is sharing. When you're in DevOps culture, it's easy to transit. Point number 1 and 4, right? So everything will come and break to the CAMS principle only, right? Sharing and culture. I am some other field. I'm I'm a part of the DevOps cluster. People will share knowledge with me, right? A culture will develop. I would automatically come in the DevOps ecosystem. I think that answered the question well.
Okay, there are more questions. Could you please share the certification slide? So whoever has asked this question, these slides, the entire presentation would be available on Naukri Learning's YouTube channel. You can also subscribe so that whenever we have future webinars, tech related or otherwise, you will be able to get a notification for that. And apart from that, I think we've already overshot 45 minutes, so I don't think we will be able to take any more questions. But thank you, Anjul. This was quite insightful, and from the comments and from the interest that people showed, I think it was a pretty engaging session, and people do want to know more about DevOps. If you guys have any other questions, you can mail it to us at nl.feedback@naukri.com. We will try to answer. And apart from that, thank you everyone for joining, for putting in your questions, for showing, for the encouraging response. And thank you, Anjul, once again for having this session with us.
Thank you so much, Niharika and Naukri Learning team. Thank you so much to the leadership who made it happen. Thank you so much.